coming at you on Monday, March 28th, 2022. Good to have you here. If you're a subscriber, you are awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to throw in my 2 cents regarding Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Academy Awards on March 27th, 2022. Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, the host, for making a G.I. Jane 2 joke, comment, referencing the health condition that has made Will Smith's wife lose her hair. So, first of all, the joke was a bad joke. Chris Rock should not have said that. And so I understand the outrage regarding Chris Rock's joke. It's not a good idea to make jokes about somebody's health condition. You know, most jokes are fair game at the Oscars, and all kinds of Oscar hosts, including Chris Rock, make lots of fun of other celebrities. But Chris Rock really should have left that off the table and not made a joke about Jada, Will Smith's wife, not having hair. You really should leave health conditions out of Oscar jokes. Having said that, I think it was embarrassing and shameful for Will Smith to slap Chris Rock. It was uncalled for. I agree with somebody who said on Twitter, it would have made a much stronger statement for Will Smith and his wife Jada to just get up and walk out. Everyone would have said, no, come back. And of course, Will wouldn't have made his Oscar acceptance speech, but that would have been a much more impactful response. The slap was a reaction, and I get the anger. I get why Will Smith was angry and felt offended and insulted. I get why his wife Jada felt insulted and offended, but that was not the way to handle it. Because what kind of message does that send? It tells young people that if somebody says something that you find insulting, you can walk up and assault them. And the slap was an assault. It was. Now, as of now, today, March 28th, Chris Rock is not pressing charges, but it was an assault. And so if a comedian makes a joke that you find insulting and you're there, you can walk up and just slap them. That's okay now. Or maybe wait until outside when they're walking to their car. You can assault them at that point. I guarantee you there will be people out there who slap or hit somebody after they said something. And some people will say, well, Will Smith did it to Chris Rock, so why can't I do it? And that's unfortunate. It's a very terrible example to show. Will Smith was comforted by his peers in the room. He was given a standing ovation during his speech. He made a reference in his speech to defending his family. This is all very toxic. This is the very definition and a good new example of toxic masculinity. And I am a man, so I'm saying this as a guy. Will Smith's toxic response was allowed, ignored, and celebrated. And again, I get why Will Smith was angry. I get why his wife was angry. The joke was a terrible joke, but this is not how you go about solving it. Anywhere else, and the person would have been arrested. Somebody is asking, do I think it was staged? I would say no, because I'm on Facebook and I have an actress on my Facebook. Her name is Beverly Randolph, and her husband is on the Academy. So she's saying that it was not staged. Also, the Academy Awards organization has today put out a statement condemning Will Smith's actions. So it is highly unlikely that it was staged. I believe it was all spontaneous and real. And I think many of us are wondering, was it staged to kind of decrease or lessen the impact of the whole thing? A man walks up and assaults somebody right there on stage. So besides the fact that it was a reaction and it is not behavior that we want our children to imitate, there's also the issue of celebrity culture. Will Smith knew that he could slap Chris Rock because he's Will Smith. Okay? Anybody else who gets up in an audience and walks up to the stage of any other comedian and slaps them is going to get arrested. So there's the issue of celebrity culture and celebrity privilege and rich privilege. And this is just like Donald Trump's comment that he made during that audio recording when he said, you can grab women by the and they let you do it. And when you're a star, they let you do it. Well, Will Smith's actions to Chris Rock is simply one more example of, if you're a star, they let you do it. And of course, Chris Rock didn't press charges. If he did, Will Smith may have been taken down and fingerprinted with mugshot. He'd be out like that. But no, I don't want anybody to walk up to me and slap me because they felt insulted by what I said. I don't want people to walk on stage during any comedian's stand-up routine and just slap them because they feel like they can, because they were insulted. I don't want anybody to walk up to your nephew, your cousin, your brother, your husband, your father, and slap them because at some party they made a comment that they felt insulted by and offended by. This is not behavior we want to reinforce and promote and applaud at all. I understand Will Smith's anger. I understand his wife's being upset. Will Smith and Jada had every right to feel what they felt, to feel insulted, offended. If I was them, I would have felt insulted and offended. But Will Smith could have gotten the point across and humbled Chris Rock by talking to him backstage. And the Bible says, if you have a problem with somebody, talk about it with them in private. This is the Jesus way. And I bring up Jesus because I don't know if Will Smith is a Christian, but there's a video on YouTube where Will Smith is sitting down. He's talking across a desk with comedian Kevin Hart. And Will Smith is talking about wanting to live his life God's way and do it God's way. And he's talking about being in control and letting go of control and his emotions. I don't know when that video was recorded, but there's Will Smith and Kevin Hart talking about wanting to be celebrities and do it God's way. And now this. So, actions speak louder than words. And I'm really disgusted and ashamed. I agree with Rob Reiner and his response. I agree with Howard Stern. I didn't think I would agree with people like Howard Stern. But Howard Stern said Will Smith would not have slapped the Oscar host if the Oscar host was Jason Momoa, Aquaman, or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Here's something else. What if that comment to Jada regarding G.I. Jane 2 and her hair What if that was made by Oscar host Amy Schumer or some other female host of the Oscars? What if a lot of people, what if there was a female host last night and a female host made that comment towards Jada, Will Smith's wife? Would Will Smith have walked up and slapped a female host? I think not. So it was unnecessary. It was embarrassing. It was a disgrace to Will Smith. And last night, now I'm not a big Oscar fan, but Jessica Chastain won an Oscar for her performance in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And my wife and I watched The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and we thought it was great. And what a wonderful moment for Jessica Chastain. I think I'm saying her name right. She won an Oscar. And all the recipients, they're all great. Even Will Smith, he won an Oscar. All that good stuff is now overshadowed by this drama BS with Chris Rock and Will Smith. That's part of the sad part of this. So I don't see an upside with this. There are many people who have felt insulted, offended, ignored, walked on, overlooked, who are saying, yeah, Will. But that's coming out of a place of pain and hurt. And that's Jada and Will. I get that. I'm not discounting that. Will and Jada had the right to feel insulted and offended and enraged. And they should have humbled Chris Rock, but not that way. And I do find it ironic and interesting that Will Smith was talking during his Oscar acceptance speech, and I want to get this quote right. He said that Denzel Washington last night at the Oscars location, Denzel Washington told him, at the highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you. And that's certainly true. That's certainly true for King David. When King David was at his peak of popularity and success, the king of Israel, he had won military victories over the Amalekites and the Hittites and the Philistines. He was married. He had all this good stuff. And then he committed his sin with Bathsheba. So it's true. When you're at the highest point, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you. And I think the devil had a field day last night at the Oscars because we have bigger fish to fry. I mean, there's still a Russian assault in Ukraine. You have your life. I have my life. And as far as the Oscars, again, many well-deserved people won Oscars. Will Smith, Jessica Chastain, so many. And all that is overshadowed by an assault of all things. So shameful, disgraceful. It was a bad joke. And Chris Rock should not have made that bad joke, but it was handled in a very immature way. If your son or your nephew or your grandson came home from school and said, I was reprimanded because somebody said something that I found insulting, and I walked up to him and I slapped him, would you be, yeah, I'm proud of you, or would you be upset? We tell our children, don't do this. We tell our teenagers, don't solve your problems with your fists. Physical violence should be a last resort, not off the table, but a last resort, not your first defense. I will end with a quote from one of my favorite actors, Patricia Heaton, star of The Middle TV show, she said today, she said, did not imagine when I posted this tweet that days later it would be relevant to the Oscars. 4 days ago, Patricia Heaton, a Christian, quoted the Bible, the Apostle Paul, when he said, get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, and brawling and slander, along with every kind of malice. Be kind to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. So if you don't get rid of your bitterness and rage and anger, it will come out. And with Will Smith, it came out. He was insulted. It was a bad joke, but he handled it the very wrong way, a very immature, disgraceful, irresponsible, unprofessional way. And he forgave everybody during his speech except Chris Rock. So that's my 2 cents worth. It wasn't staged. According to what I'm reading, it was not staged. And I see both sides, but the behavior was disgraceful. Will Smith pretty much spoiled his moment. I agree. Somebody just said Will Smith just spoiled his moment with the Oscar. I agree. He finally won an Oscar, and now this. This slap, which is now a meme, will overshadow his movie and his win. And for what? For what? To score a macho point? You know, how old is he? Is he 32? Is he 21? Is he 13? No, come on. I'm 50. He's older than me. He's older than me. He's been married longer than I have. He has more money and wealth than any one of us will see in 25 lifetimes. And he has some relationship with God. He needs to get his nose into the Bible like Patricia Heaton. So yeah, I totally agree. He basically ruined his own moment. He just, I won't say a bad word. He just soiled. He just muddied. He just dumped on his own moment. And for what? For what? For one slap so you can go home and think you're a man? Come on. We don't need all these men in our society who are already toxic masculinity men. We don't need them to think that in order to prove themselves as strong men and strong husbands, they have to resort to physical violence if they feel like somebody insulted them or their wife. Because anybody else would have been in handcuffs. You know, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Kathy Griffin. I do not agree with anything comedian Kathy Griffin says, except on this topic. And I agree with Rob Reiner. Can't believe it. I agree with Howard Stern on this topic. So yeah, it's doubtful that Will Smith would have walked up and slapped Amy Schumer if it was her, Amy Schumer, who made that comment. Or if Sandra Bullock was hosting the Oscars, or if Jennifer Lawrence was hosting the Oscars, or if Reese Witherspoon or Nicole Kidman was hosting the Oscars and had made that comment. So yeah, it was a bad joke, but handled in the very wrong way. And the thing is, Will Smith is actually making Chris Rock look good. Because yeah, his joke was bad, but now everyone, almost everyone on both sides of this issue are commending Chris Rock for keeping it together and hosting the Oscars after being slapped. Will Smith is lucky that Chris Rock didn't grab a hold of him and punch him back or slap back or walk out and say, forget this, and throw down his paper and walk out. So kudos to Chris Rock for handling it. Bad joke. Should not have been said. Don't make jokes about someone's health. Don't make jokes. I don't care if it's about celebrities. In the Oscars, they shouldn't make jokes that pertain to anybody's health condition. But it was handled in a very immature, irresponsible, unspiritual, unprofessional way. Anyway, what are your thoughts? I want to hear what you have to say. If you like this, if you agree or not, please subscribe. I come on here and I talk about current issues, and I try to relate current issues and world events to the Bible. So thank you for watching. Take care. God bless.